on today's wrestling news, all the latest on the WrestleMania chaos for WWE surrounding The Rock.
Cody Rhodes responds to massive fan backlash.
Has CM Punk's new WWE role been revealed?
And Gunther teases a WWE dream match.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflet.
And this is the news. Only one place to start, really, of course. The thing that everyone is still talking about, the WrestleMania 40 main event. The Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. We'll have all the latest on Cody in a second. But let's start with The Rock and a report from Mike Johnson of PW Insider that you may have seen doing the rounds last night on Twitter. Multiple sources, according to Mike, have noted that The Rock is 100% performing in the ring at WrestleMania 40. It is a done deal. It's actually likely something that was locked in as part of the negotiations to bring him in as on the TKO board of directors. PW Insider told there is no scenario where The Rock is not wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 unless something unforeseen happens, like an injury. So you can kind of stop you speculating that The Rock is going to take a step back and say, hey, Cody, this is your year. It was part of his negotiations.
Hey, Cody, you're not all right.
Yes.
My match.
And there's all that speculation about the deal being done in early January, which makes the decision to have Cody win the Rumble and point at Roman Reigns even more baffling. Unless, well, we'll get into it in due course. We've got some good Twitter questions about this later on as well.
Yeah. The story's going to run probably before WWE's next premium live event, which is, of course, this Thursday when they do the WrestleMania kickoff in Vegas. Like, Elimination Chamber now goes into the middle distance. This event on Thursday featuring The Rock and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. And like Bianca Belair and other people there as well, but like basically all the people currently involved in the conversation will be present in Vegas for that. All eyes are on it after last night's Monday Night Raw, for those that haven't seen, and we'll get to a little bit more of that in a minute. There was the obvious backlash that WWE leaned into. You had Michael Cole making repeated references to it. They didn't shy away from the Cody Rhodes signs. It appeared that some had been left in the building should fans want to use them. And to Wilborn's point, it's whether or not everybody knew about this, other than the inner circle that Dave Meltzer reported on yesterday of The Rock, Ari Emanuel and Nick Khan, and whether or not this was all being kept secret until recently, and that's why we saw it play out as we did, only for what feels like a wrecking ball to have swung through it. I was watching videos of Hollywood Rock from 2003, and all of a sudden all my sort of complications and queries went out the window. I was like, just own it and turn heel. Just own it and turn heel. Like, you're not going to get the love and support of your fans, but if you absolutely want this thing that everybody hates, be hated in an environment where hating is part of the fun and part of the joy of it. But maybe it's all not over yet. Yes,
Cody's not giving an answer. They opened the show, which I was kind of surprised. I thought they'd just keep him in the bull rope match. And, well, at least if they were trying to dismiss it and just do the Seth Rollins angle of things, because it was addressed with Seth and Cody at the start of the show, and Drew, I should mention, who closed out the show by attacking Cody Rhodes. But yeah, they seem to be far more open to acknowledging it than I anticipated they would be. I still watched Monday Night Raw, incredibly nervous. We'll talk all about it later on the Raw Review, WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. And of course, Simon Miller will be here with ups and downs later on today.
Yeah, and Cody has responded outside of Raw directly to fans online that have been obviously bolstering his case with the We Want Cody hashtag, which has been trending since Friday after SmackDown finished. And as of Tuesday we're recording, I believe it's still trending on Twitter. He replied to the messages on X simply with a quote, "Appreciate the passion, God bless you all, but trust me." Now, that's very good of him to do, and I think there might be an element of, I want to shout out, by the way, the article that is on whatculture.com/WWE. There's some Scott Carlson who wrote this up, and he gives you a bit more details on this, but he made the point, and I agree actually. It could be Cody trying to trample down a little bit of some of the unsavoury side of the We Want Cody movement. NXT general manager Ava,
disgusting this.
She's The Rock's daughter, and that might be why some people thought it was okay to send her threatening messages and death threats and all that sort of awful stuff that typically when there's a movement along these lines, there's always people that take the fun out of it and just make it quite nasty. And I wonder if Cody has been asked to do that, or has chosen to do that as a move to just sort of, we're good.
There was all the die Rocky die chants back in the day, but I don't think people were literally wishing death upon him.
No, even then, even when it was a different time. So have fun with this and all this in the comments below, and we encourage all the crack, and we enjoy having the debate and the crack about it, but never needs to get silly. But Cody Rhodes doing that now in line with what happened on Raw, ahead of what's happening on Thursday, feels like he's kind of like staring right back at the eye of the storm, doesn't he? And he's almost like daring the power players to like push him on this one.
Yeah.
With no official announcement, with no match graphics. Thursday, like all eyes on it.
Yeah, I thought it was fascinating. I read a
Mm.
report. I do apologise, I've forgotten who published this, but they said they sort of anticipated Cody becoming this Daniel Bryan-esque martyr as part of these announcements. And I thought, how, if you thought that, did you not think maybe The Rock's not going to be universally received as part of all that?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe, like you say, maybe this was always the plan all along, not to, have Cody replace The Rock in the WrestleMania main event, but maybe factor into it as well. But it does feel like WWE are far more amenable, is that the phrase?
Yeah.
To fan discussion with this, and despite, maybe some potential muting of the crowd has been speculated online, it's not like they confiscated any sign that said we want Cody, for example. It was right there in front of the hard cam as soon as you opened Monday Night Raw, and it wasn't like they got taken away or anything. So yeah, really interesting to see where this goes next. Like you say, just counting the days until the press conference on Thursday night, which I sense you and I are probably going to stay up and watch.
Very possibly. You might not think this is related. Have you seen the weather in Vegas?
I haven't.
It's always sunny in Vegas, so
What?
it's fine. But it's always sunny at WhatCulture as well. And we're going to bring that sunshine to Philadelphia, where you can catch our live show, whatculture.com/tickets. We are the meat in your WrestleMania sandwich. If Cody's got nothing going on night 2, which may still be the case, he's very much welcome. He's an invited guest. He's not on the poster for now, but you know who is? Simon Miller.
Yes.
The one you actually like other than us douchebags. But we'll be all this sort of stuff, podcasting, a typical WhatCulture live experience. We'll be able to talk about everything that happened on night 1, as well as speculate on things that's going to happen on night 2. The VIP tickets have sold out. We keep saying that, but general sale, there are some last ones available. You can be a straggler, you can get yourself in, you can be part of the fun, and it'll take place at 12 o'clock, giving you plenty of time when the show's finished to get across to WrestleMania, because we're going to want to.
Yeah, exactly. T-shirt offers, meet and greet offers on there as well. Do go and check it out, whatculture.com/tickets. Someone else who could be at the live show, again, card subject to change, not promising anything. CM Punk, although his new role may have been accidentally revealed, they did a big update on Raw last night, the footage of him going in and getting surgery and then having the thing on his arm for his tricep injury, of course. They said he's going to be out for a few months, but the fact they sort of featured him means that he's not disappeared from our screens yet, and he may not be disappearing from our screens at all, because Ace Steel, you remember him, he was chatting to Fightful on their, I do apologise, I don't want to get this wrong, Wrestling Perspective podcast, which is one of the best podcasts out there that's, not ours. He was chatting to them on that podcast, and he's sort of accidentally revealed what they would like Punk to do in the interim whilst he can't wrestle. He's still saying definitely they want him on commentary. I don't know that they go that route, since they did an injury angle to pull him out, since they did a storyline on him, Drew stomping on his arm. There's the physicality that puts him out. I personally don't want to see him in an on-screen role unless it's in the meantime doing NXT or something. I don't want to see him on the same show as Drew McIntyre either, because his sole focus would of course be going after Drew McIntyre, who sort of exacerbated this injury. But we've sort of spoken about this on podcasts and stuff before.
Yeah.
Whether it be at WrestleMania, whether it be a weekly thing on Raw, SmackDown, or the best wrestling show of the week, NXT, I'd love to get the Punker back on commentary.
Tell you what, we're recording this on Tuesday morning. Might it be too wild speculation to say that it could be as early as tonight? Booker T was unable to make Vengeance Day.
Yeah, he's had surgery. Get well soon, Booker.
Sunday, and there was no timescale given for his return, and there's every chance Wade Barrett is able to just step in and fill in. But obviously the main roster is now tidied up after the situation with Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves and all that. So yeah, like CM Punk, who already likes hanging out at NXT, it stands to reason that he might want to sit.
Yeah, he's working with like Trick and Mello and stuff on the build to the Rumble.
It'd be pretty exciting. I mean, it's funny that the stories come out this way. You'd think of all people, Ace Steel would be able to bite his tongue. But
nice.
We speculated on it because it'd just be loads of fun.
Yeah.
Like, CM Punk's the best in that ring, on that microphone. Hell, he's even the best on commentary.
Yeah.
So he'd be a welcome presence. I agree with Ace Steel, mind. Like, keep him away from Drew. If they're in the same building,
it'd be weird,
Punk should be wanting to get him. So.
They've had a lot of shake-up on SmackDown for a while now. So that might feel slightly weird. I also would just love to see him seeing the weekly characters and events on NXT, because I know it's not for everyone, but it is definitely for me, and I'd just love to see him being like, so this is a mobster boss, right? And he's one half of the tag team champions, his underboss is the others. it's the best. It's so much fun. If you don't like it, fine, but apologies for being a boring bastard. So.
Look, right, if we can all agree, and I mean you, and I mean everybody, disagree in the comments, but I'm sure you won't.
Yeah.
If CM Punk and Von Wagner is the dream match in all of wrestling,
Oh my God.
might Gunther have come through with number 2 here?
Yes!
I think he might have done. Gunther, wow, was asked to pass comment on a specific wrestler, and oh my God, did we all start thinking about how awesome this would be. He was speaking to House of Wrestling for their Clubhouse section, which you can subscribe to on Patreon. Another good wrestling podcast. As good as ours.
Yeah. Bumped into Nick Hausman over WrestleMania, I remember.
Yeah,
He's a lovely man.
Asked all the right questions at the press conference recently, and he was asking a question of Gunther about Kazuchika Okada. Gunther replied, I think Okada is fantastic. I always love Japanese wrestling. When I grew up in professional wrestling, understanding everything, I always enjoyed Japanese wrestling the most. I was more of an All Japan guy than a New Japan guy, to be honest. But yeah, he's one of the best in the world, and if he joins WWE, he's very welcome to, and I think he finds a great competition here. I don't disagree with that,
no.
Gunther. You are a very handsome man and you have great taste. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, Gunther would say that because he's not stupid and he knows his own worth and he knows how valuable a match that would be. But yet again, like, despite the speculation seeming to lean towards Okada going to AEW, it is that reminder that if you are generally a North American fan, the opportunities across both companies are vast.
Yeah.
Like for Okada, it's not just as simple as it might have once been. I would even go back to 2021 where it's like we've got to go to AEW. All the matches are there. Things in terms of the roster makeup and the possibility and the potential quality of the matches in WWE have changed in such a way that I don't think Gunther's the only one on that list.
Even Michael Sidgwick, Mr. AEW, has said he'd kind of preferred to see Okada in WWE. A, just to see what that looks like, and B, like you say, some of the potential matches. Gunther Okada would be an absolute show stealer. There was speculation as whether or not there was an Okada tease on NXT Vengeance Day just because they put up a Japanese proverb and people went, Japanese Okada? It could be literally anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, Okada in NXT, specifically Chase U, would be my dream come true. I called it Jace U there, slip of the tongue, but is it? If you know, you know. But
when are we doing their WhatCulture calendar, by the way?
We're working on
Do
it.
a ticket deal for the live show.
Yeah, put it out the second half of the year. That'll do it. But yeah, I would suspect, along with Mercedes Moné, that Okada eventually ends up in AEW, but until they appear on your screens, they could be going anywhere, and Okada in WWE throws up so many potential matches and dream matches, as you say.
Do we need any more reminders, ever, but especially based on what we've been talking about lately in pro wrestling, to never say never?
Exactly. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE on X. Of course, if you want to get in touch with us, obvious that we've had a lot of questions, so I've tried to boil it down to just one regarding WrestleMania and main events and Rock and Cody and Roman, etc. So congratulations to you, Damo, who got in with the question. Thank you for your question. Hear me out. Roman, Cody, Rock, and Seth, Drew, Sammy at Mania. Thoughts?
I have a couple of thoughts. I like the people involved. I think the right people are fighting for one belt, and the other right people are fighting for the other belt. Actually, I think that you've nailed the makeup of the top stars and the top brackets at the moment. I don't love triple threats. On a podcast a few weeks ago, I made the point that however all of this this was way before The Rock, this was before the Rumble. However all of this was going to shake out, and I was including like CM Punk in the conversation, finishing the story in its purest definition, like drilling in coal for diamonds or however it went, was Cody Rhodes defeating Roman Reigns in the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania. That's it. Like, you kind of have to have the whole thing for it to be right. Now, that's my version of right, but maybe other people are like have a different version of right.
Technically, that is being achieved.
Yeah, maybe
just
Damo.
not one-on-one.
And look, Damo's making a point here that I think a lot of people have made, and it's not without note, even though I think it's more dumb luck at this point. We do have this weird WrestleMania law of multi-matches, working twice, like working more than one person to get it done, the whole thing. So I get it. And I love that people are still seeing different things. I think on Thursday, WWE will announce Roman Reigns versus The Rock and tell Cody Rhodes to kiss everybody's ass. Like, I just don't think there's a pivot coming, but I think the fact that they played into it on Raw is encouraging.
A glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
I love Seth versus Drew versus Sammy at Mania, by the way, Dame. I think that's a great shout.
I think Sammy's a proper contender for that.
Yeah, especially with what they did with him on Raw. I like the triple threat. Maybe you make it do what the CM Punk said they should have done years ago. Maybe you make it an elimination, so The Rock can just play his hits and then piss all off.
3-way dance. That's.
Wow, you like that? Just you wait. I've told you this as soon as I walked
in there.
So, here's what they should do. Once again, Wilborn comes through in a clutch.
Yeah.
So you do first night. Seth, Drew, Sammy, perfect. I mean, I'll have Sammy win the title for me, but I just want all my dreams to come true. WrestleMania 40, basically. Night 2, triple threat elimination. Rock, Roman, Cody.
Yeah.
Rock do the thing, and he'd be quite good. You got biggest heel in the business, Roman Reigns, biggest babyface in the world, Cody Rhodes, and The Rock, a bit of a tweener right now, to be perfectly honest. Yes, he's getting booed at that, but you look online, and casual fans love him. My wife loves him and wants to see him face Roman Reigns, for example. I love him, just not right now. So you'd have that nice setup in the build. You can have Rock do a rock bottom at a people's elbow, but then get him out of there, and then we can get down to the one-on-one match. But problem with that is it's a triple threat, Michael Hamflett, and we're not going my alternative booking of having Solo face Cody on night 1, whilst Rock fights Roman on night 1. They did it, right? So triple threat. What's the thing about triple threat?
No disqualification.
Thank you very much. And what happens in literally every single Roman Reigns title match?
Bloodline interfere.
Yeah, and exactly. And the thing is, what you need there is a referee who's really going to make sure that this is a clean fight between two men. And it's already potentially one of the biggest WrestleMania main events of all time. What if we have Stone Cold Steve Austin as a special guest referee?
I'm in. Let's go.
There you go, WWE, fixed it. Just give me a mention on Thursday night. That'd be much appreciated.
The little Wilbur just touched it.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments and your pictures, of course, on X. Vacant's manager says, gents, should Bray Wyatt be given a special tribute at this year's Hall of Fame? Maybe have Bo Dallas pledge to have the Wyatt 6 debut later on. I'm less keen on any Wyatt 6 stuff. I think that should just be left in the past. But it feels like this year you kind of have to, don't you?
Yeah, put him in. We talked before about like the Hall of Fame. It's weird. If you take it seriously as some sort of actual legacy thing, as like a Hall of Fame thing as a fan, then you perhaps just like buying into WWE's bluster a little bit. But what it absolutely does exist as, earnestly, is an opportunity for some old stars to have one night where they're centre stage in front of many of their peers and a lot of fans, just having like a nice night. Especially now it's on the end of SmackDown. Like even more so than it ever used to be. And I just think it would be nice to pay tribute to him. Like it's
and Luke Harper as well.
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
Brody Lee, I should say.
If not just Bo Dallas, but you've got like Mike Rotunda, you've got Eric Redbeard, you've got associate members. Like, you put the Wyatt family.
See, Rowan posted a picture of the three of them like before their first big show, I think it was. On X. It was a lovely, tinged with obviously huge sadness. But yeah, I'd like this as an appreciation of both men. I'd have it.
Like Amanda Huber and the Huber family might be in town for WrestleMania weekend, and I just think like the Wyatt family as an act, as a possibly like the biggest monument, I guess, to Bray Wyatt's WWE legacy, but then as a way for like John Huber to be honoured as well. Nice thing. It's nice, and the Hall of Fame can just be one of those nice things. And I think like what we're learning at the moment is that when you're going through a lot of older generation stuff, there are some maybe skeletons in closets and the likes, whereas like this is an opportunity to just keep it nice.
And a quick word on Bo Dallas. I'm going to say this once. A bit like Big E, but obviously very different circumstances. Let's not fantasy book him into anything that he doesn't want to do. He's gone through some incredible trauma. He's obviously been helping out Bray Wyatt, JoJo, Bray Wyatt's family, etc. WWE have given him this presumably lifelong contract to help out with everything. It would be completely understandable if he was like, you know what, I had my fun in the wrestling business, but I kind of want to just focus on family. Big E's very different, obviously, because of his injury, but I'm very apprehensive about booking people in stuff that aren't just coming back from a minor injury or just, decided to not wrestle for a bit.
No, it's a good point, like well made, really. It's always on the people involved, isn't it, more than the ideas that we might have about storylines we would like to have.
Final question today comes from Mark Brightman regarding Gunther. On a separate note from what's been drawing the most attention, who faces Gunther at Mania? Mark suggests a debuting Braun Breaker to end his historic run as IC champ.
Is there a bad Gunther match? Like the Chad Gable one feels like it's dissolving in front of our very eyes.
Disappearing into the distance, isn't it?
But I'm not. The problem is, and it's only a problem really if you're a massive, massive Chad Gable fan, is that the other options would be just as awesome. Like, I still feel like there's money in one more Sheamus match.
Yeah.
Like, he had that thing about him wanting to win the Intercontinental title before he retires, and like they had an incredible, well, like the series of matches basically, if you include the WrestleMania triple threat. Like, there's still meat on that bone. It would be awesome. They've proven themselves in massive stadiums as well. Gunther, Seth probably shouldn't be out of the conversation until we know the belt situation is cleared up. Gunther, I presume, will defeat Jey Uso, but then if they have to pivot with Sami Zayn, do you have him go on a sort of hero's journey to try and do it? And again, the idea of like, not Sami Zayn on Raw, not an underdog anymore, but he certainly look one against Gunther, wouldn't he? It's a dream situation for Triple H because there aren't many ways you can go wrong, I think, with the Gunther Intercontinental title match.
I'm leaning towards more of a Braun Breaker match because the way they sort of very partially teased it with him being there with the rest of Imperium on Raw. And I think I'm right in thinking that Braun Breaker was the last person to give Gunther a singles loss. Not like count out. Obviously, Chad Gable did that.
There's good law there. And, of course, Braun Breaker was drafted into the Rumble to basically do a like-for-like Brock Lesnar job, it was reported on was sort of on the whiteboard at least for the Gunther match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So again, slotting him in there when there's nothing else obvious in the future would work just, and it would look great. Like,
and it'd be a hell of a launch pad for Braun Breaker, who's going to be a mega star. But
yeah,
let us know all your fantasy booking for everything WrestleMania related in the comments section below, and we'll keep you posted on any developments as and when they come. But for now, why not check out this video? We'll see you soon.